The 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season was always going to be one to remember with the debut of the next-gen car. Oh, it's been one to remember, all right. The last month of NASCAR news for fans has been like trying to drink water from a fire hydrant. One breaking news story after another. In the last 3 weeks, NASCAR has been under fire for a variety of issues, and it's been coming from all directions. Drivers were bashing Texas Motor Speedway before they ever turned a lap in the Lone Star State. The racing definitely lived down to the low expectations, but two intriguing stories came out of the race, and interestingly, both involved Hendrick Motorsports drivers. William Byron didn't like the way Denny Hamlin ran him late in the race, and as he would later admit to reporters, retaliated, bumping the number 11 car under caution. There was one problem. That aggressive bump turned into a spin, and Hamlin dropped from second to 22nd. Unbelievably, NASCAR officials missed it. The organization that had been touting just weeks earlier how all the Cup cars would be fitted with in-car cameras for the fans' viewing pleasure inexplicably couldn't get their eyes on a replay of what happened between Byron and Hamlin until after the race resumed. Well, that's at least what Vice President of Competition Scott Miller told the media.
So I'll have to be honest with you, Bob. When we were in the tower, we were paying more attention to the actual cause of the caution up there and dispatching our equipment. The William Byron, Denny Hamlin thing, we had no eyes on. We saw Denny go through the grass, and by the time we got to a replay that showed the incident well enough to do anything to it, we'd gone back to green. But
the other tall Texas tale was the concussion suffered by Alex Bowman in what appeared to be an innocuous hit, backing his number 48 car into the wall. But as drivers and fans have learned this year, there is no such thing in a next-gen car. All hits hurt, and the drivers have said it consistently throughout the year. Bowman's injury and the fact that it forced him to miss Talladega was the boiling point, as numerous drivers outside of the regular combatants in Hamlin and Harvick let it be known they were not happy. Among them, Bowman's teammates Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott.
Well, I don't feel like we should have ever been in this position to begin with to need to go forward. We should have gone forward with a new opportunity at a new car, in my opinion. I mean, you have all these years of experience and knowledge and time of racing and crashing these cars and teams working on them and building them, and it just blows me away that we can have something new in 2022 that offers all this technology and all this time and experience of so many just super talented people in this sport, and we allow it to go backwards.
With so many drivers speaking out on safety concerns, NASCAR had to act, and they did. This past weekend at the Charlotte Roval, all Cup drivers met with top officials and aired their grievances with the governing body in what Christopher Bell described as a tense meeting. That gathering was the culmination of months of frustration, and it had a specific focus on addressing the issues with the current car. What received much less attention, but would objectively be considered much bigger news because it's about the sport's future existence, was a press conference held the day before with Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon, 2311 racing investor Curtis Polk, Joe Gibbs Racing President Dave Alpern, and Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing President Steve Newmark. The four men are part of a new subcommittee from the Race Team Alliance, which was formed in 2014 to act on behalf of the teams and handle discussions on various topics with NASCAR. The hot topic of conversation is NASCAR's current television contract that runs through the 2024 season. In preparation for a new deal that will start in 2025, teams have been in talks with the sanctioning body all year about increasing their portion of the pie. Currently, the split is 65% to tracks, 25% to teams, and 10% to NASCAR. Remember, NASCAR owns numerous tracks. Gordon and the others spoke to the media because they wanted to address the situation in a more public way due to a lack of progress behind closed doors. According to reports, the group had presented a 7-point plan on a new revenue-sharing model to NASCAR back in June. NASCAR had not responded until a week before. In that counteroffer, the sanctioning body offered a minimal increase in revenue and placed an emphasis on cost-cutting, which would likely come in the form of layoffs and has already taken place at many organizations. We've already had substantial cuts. We are doing more with less than we ever have in 30 years, Alpern said. The JGR exec made another alarming statement about the business model, which is dependent on sponsorship for around 60 to 80% of most NASCAR teams' annual revenue. He said he is terrified of what happens after Coach Gibbs is gone. I'm talking about survival, he said. Unbelievably, Alpern's remarks weren't even the most shocking from the group. That came from the Hendrick Motorsports vice chair. Gordon bluntly admitted that HMS has not had a profitable season in years. It will again lose money this season despite the cost-cutting next-gen car. Think about that. The winningest Cup team in the sport's storied history, which by the way has won the last 2 championships, hasn't turned a profit in years. That's a disturbing fact. Dale Earnhardt Jr. agreed. The Hall of Famer said as much on his podcast this week, admitting he was bothered when he learned what Gordon and the others had to say about NASCAR's counteroffer.
For me, so I'm a potential owner in the Cup Series. Junior Motorsports could be a future owner in the series, and we are actively out here, like a lot of other new owners that are talking to these teams about what these charters are worth, who's willing to sell one, how do we become an owner. And so when I heard what I heard from the RTA, it made me go, I need to wait and pause. RTA is basically telling me that this charter that I want to buy is a losing proposition, or not a money maker, it's broken. That I don't want to buy this charter now because it's not a successful business venture. And so as an interested owner or interested future purchaser of a charter, I expected that number to get there. I expected them to be able to achieve what they wanted. I expected the RTA to be able to get this done. And when I heard that NASCAR came with just a very minimal increase, it freaked me out a little bit.
Freaked out. All NASCAR fans who genuinely care about the sport and its future should be a little freaked out. Each member of the 4-member committee acknowledged this is a pivotal moment in the sport's history. It is, and there must be change. The teams are bluntly admitting they can no longer survive on such a sponsor-dependent model. NASCAR, which has certainly lost the confidence of a lot of its fan base, and deservedly so by all of the previously mentioned blunders this season alone, better step up to the plate and deliver a fair deal with the teams during the next television contract. The sport's very existence depends on it.